over it and not saying a word about it, but I'm here to tell you the true story.
Good morning, Kansas City. This is New Day with SSJ on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Stephen St. John here back in studio. Jake Gutierrez and Deebs are also here. I guess the moral of the story at this point is be glad you're not a Bills fan, huh? Good God.
I'm here to tell you the true story.
Never mind the behind-the-scenes draft documentary that clearly has footage that the GM was all over that wide receiver and looking to take full credit for drafting Keon Coleman, but who cares, right? There's enough to worry about in Kansas City. But it sure is fun to watch other franchises melt down. Today on the show, man, we're going to need a meltdown after this weekend. I am not looking forward to this. And I do, one thing I am looking forward to is I don't have to look forward to it, I'm watching it right now, the bickering and the finger pointing and the arguing between weather people and meteorologists over what model they should be following, the Euro model. I'm not going to name them all, but there's several. All I know is that there are several models you could follow, and there's arguments and infighting between all the people in the weather industry of which model is correct, who's going to have this forecast right, some name-calling, some accusations, and I'm here for that. This is good. But at some point, I'd like someone to step in and tell us what's actually going to happen. So that's why we're going to have our old friend Gary Lezak on the show just after 7 o'clock. So we can cut out all the noise. And Gary is a lot of things. Gary's a lot of things. But Gary is the guy we trust, along with Jeff Penner. And so we'll give you the old 1-2 punch of Gary Lezak on Thursday and then Jeff Penner on Friday. Not very many people can recover from that 1-2 punch. And so we'll get you ready. Because as I've learned, these things can change rapidly from day to day. And so we'll get the initial outlook for the weekend weather today, just after 7 o'clock with Gary, and then tomorrow, just before 8 o'clock, in our normal segment with Jeff Penner. But you have to remind me, Jake, to break a little earlier than normal so we can give Jeff plenty of time to give us all the information. Because all kidding aside, this looks like it could be really, really bad for a lot of people. And it looks like, I've seen everything from, okay, there's going to be unbelievably cold weather, single digits, and wind chill -15, -20. But just a dusting of snow. Then someone says, well, no, now it looks like this thing's going to be moving north more, and you could have a lot of snow. And then you got somebody else, well, maybe it's the ice you got to worry about. I don't know, but I hope Gary knows. And the LRC, so we'll get Gary with us just after 7 o'clock. Point is, you should probably prepare and get yourself ready for, at the very least, unbelievably cold weather. And if you can, just stay home this weekend.
It's a moist one.
I know not everyone has that option. Not everyone has that choice, but be safe, stay warm, and we'll find out what Gary says here in about an hour. Before then, we'll talk to former Chiefs offensive lineman Joe Valerio. After we talk to Gary, we'll check in with Matt Derrick from ChiefsDigest.com and get his thoughts on all the movement within the coaching staff for the Kansas City Chiefs and what he thinks is happening, and get his opinion about it. Gary Dieter and Anthony Sherman should have something to say about their old coach Eric Bieniemy coming back to Kansas City to be the offensive coordinator. And so we'll have Gary Dieter and Anthony Sherman, who both played on the team when Bieniemy was there. And we'll talk to them about what they think it means. And in the 9 o'clock hour, Jesse Newell will be here from The Athletic, and we'll talk football with him. And maybe we'll even sprinkle in some AFC and NFC championship game talk. Unfortunately, well, I don't know if it's unfortunate. I mean, if you've been wanting to hear a bunch of talk about the title games, I don't know if we've met your needs the past couple of days, because I am finding myself being, forced to try to generate excitement for these games.
Oh, they're lackluster for sure. They're lackluster.
It's been, certainly at least the last 7 years, because the Chiefs have always been in the AFC Championship game, and maybe that's a huge letdown, but it's hard for me to remember the last time I just didn't have any juice for either game.
There's a hangover for sure. When you're 7 years straight used to seeing the Chiefs in there, there's a hangover, and then to boot, the matchup is, Jared Stitham's one of the quarterbacks.
Yeah, and I feel the same. Not the same way, but I feel that way about the NFC game too, because I never like watching the Seahawks.
Really?
And I don't really ever watch the Seahawks. There's no, I don't.
They played in a lot of good NFC West games this year.
But I just never find myself. I can't wait to watch the Seahawks this weekend.
I got a soft space in my heart for Sam Darnold.
Yeah, see, and I don't, because I don't care if if he wins or loses. It's not, for me, it's not compelling to me. I don't care about the Rams. I like Stafford, it's going to be I think a really, really good game.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I think it's going to be a very exciting game, and when I watch it, I think it'll be good. But I'm just not anticipating it.
But I think that also is, there's a hangover from the Chiefs not being in the AFC Championship, and they're not stellar matchups.
Yeah.
And one team is despised across Kansas City.
I guess the best way to say it for the NFC, that's a really good matchup with two really good teams, but neither one of them has ever moved the needle for me, I guess.
Yeah.
When I see it, I don't think, man, the Eagles, man, I can't stand Sirianni. I don't like the Eagles at all. Or I love watching this guy, or I don't like, it's just,
I like McVay a lot.
Yeah.
I root for Stafford occasionally. I think Puka's a stud. I like watching him. And then, when the number one draft pick, the Browns had the first pick overall, we had a nice, healthy debate, however long ago that was, who should be the first quarterback between Baker and Sam Darnold, and I hitched my wagon onto Sam Darnold, and so I've always kind of.
I don't think they were wrong with. Baker's been.
They've been on about the same trajectory. I would say they've had pretty similar careers. Yeah. If anything, Baker's had better numbers.
Yep. No, I think it's a letdown too. From I was all in on, watching the Bills beat the Broncos, and that was a letdown. And then, this is going to be a really fun matchup between two young quarterbacks that I could root against both. but then the bizarre injury to Bo Nix. And so, like, I just, like, with the AFC Championship game, I don't even know what to do. I know that I want the Broncos to lose, but is it fair to say I want the Broncos to lose, but I don't want the Patriots to win? Does that make any sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people feel that way.
So, like, that's what I know for this weekend. I want the Broncos to lose, but I will take no joy in watching the Patriots win.
Right.
And so
I think Kansas City sides with that opinion.
Like, whatever happens, is like,
I know I do. I feel that way.
But
I was really rooting for the Texans last weekend.
Yeah, I was rooting for Texans Bills.
Yeah, me
game,
too. Me too.
Know?
Me too.
And then I was the most fun team to watch in the NFC for me was the Bears. Whether you like them or not, that was the most entertaining team to watch.
Yeah,
and then it would have been so much more juice in this game if it was Caleb Williams and Luther Burden and the Bears going to Seattle. But hey, the game will probably be fabulous, and I'll be excited when I watch it. I'm just not, like you said, probably just still dealing with the fact that the Chiefs aren't playing this weekend. But that's fine. We'll watch them. And
you gonna watch the thicker kicker?
Yeah, I was happy that he made the kick in the divisional round to go to the playoffs. I did not want him to miss that. Even though I wanted the Bears to win, I did not want Harrison Mevis to miss. I wanted him to be a hero, and he was. So we'll talk about the championship games a little later. I just talked about it more than I wanted to right now, so there you go. Now I feel like I have to take a shower. Boy, big trade last night in Major League Baseball. The Mets fans were pissed off because they were missing out on some of the names that they wanted. But I think the Mets fans, and really who cares about Mets fans, but the Mets have gone out and made a couple of gigantic trades the last couple of days, acquiring Lewis Robert from the White Sox. And then they follow it up with acquiring one of my favorite pitchers in baseball, Freddie Peralta. And Jeff Passan broke that last night. The Mets acquiring all-star right-hander Freddie Peralta in a trade with the Brewers. Top prospects, Jet Williams. I like Jet Williams. And Brandon Sproat are headed to Milwaukee. One more big league pitcher will head to the Mets. But I love Freddie Peralta. And you guys know I'm an avid participant in rotisserie baseball and fantasy baseball. And I've been mocked by some of the people I play with. I have always had Freddie Peralta on my team ever since he was a rookie. I always find either a way to bid on him, acquire him, whatever. And so he was one of the best pitchers on the market. And so I'm a big fan of Freddie Peralta. And so we'll see what happens there. I'm not a fan of him going to the Mets. I like him better with the Brewers because I like the Brewers. And the Mets, I just think it's funny when they lose, but getting Lewis Robert and Freddie Peralta, I'm like, ooh. I like to watch those guys play baseball, so. But that was a big one last night. Every time I see Jeff Passan say breaking, I'm hoping, come on, Royals, give me one more bat. Come on. You got one more move in there. You can do it. So, little baseball stuff for you, too. How you doing, Jake? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. I mean, not looking forward to this cold weather heading our way, but we'll deal with it. Seems to be...
I'm not even sure cold describes it. It's going to be
bitter,
brutal. Yeah,
Arctic.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
You don't even have to do your cold plunge. You can just go outside and stand there.
Yeah. I mean, it puts a damper on my running.
Yeah, you know what? I know that you're David Goggins Jr., but don't go out there and damage yourself.
No, that's just,
Please don't run if it's do it for me. I need you. Please don't run if it's -20
I'll probably
wind chill.
take Saturday off. I'll run tomorrow
Would
morning.
you?
Yeah.
If it's that bad, okay.
Yeah.
There we go. That makes me feel better.
I need a day off anyways.
Yep.
So, but
So
not
do
looking
I.
forward to that.
Yes, a lot for different reasons.
Not looking forward to it, but whatever. It's January. We're always do one or two of these every year, so here it is.
And hopefully it's not as bad.
Right.
We'll see. But that's why we're bringing the big guns in. That's why Gary's going to be on the show.
Can't pay attention to that damn European model.
Yeah, I don't know what to believe.
Yeah, there's a lot of people down south freaking out.
Well, yeah, because that looks like the amount of ice they could get
Yeah,
would be debilitating. What?
nothing. See,
Why did you laugh at that?
I don't know. There's some Texans leaving the state.
Well, I mean, look, you got a plan. I don't know. Yeah. Also, it's been interesting. I've mentioned this past couple of days to see all the reaction from Eric Bieniemy coming back, and that was officially reported last night. So that officially happened. The Bieniemy's back, but I think more and more Chiefs fans and people that follow the team are starting to come around on the idea. And it's also, I got to remember that, and Lebo reminds me of this, and you do too, and so does Eli Drinkwitz, when Eli Drinkwitz says that Twitter's not real. Sometimes I get jaded by the negativity that I see on X and on social media because during the show, that's just the nature of the business. News breaks, you find out about trades, and you find out about signings and hirings and firings and all the news in sports. You find out on X first, before anywhere else, really, to be honest with you. And so we have to look at it, and we have to check. How many times during the show has a story broke or something happened, and X was the first place? And so if you're not paying attention, you don't see it, and you're not going to be able to react soon enough. For us, on the air, something happens with the Chiefs or something happens with the Royals or there's a trade or whatever else, and it posts at 8:30, we got to talk about it, And so there's a reason that I monitor it closely, but the negativity can be overwhelming. And I was starting to get so, I don't know, I guess pissed off about all these people complaining about Eric Bieniemy coming back. That I said, are people that mad? And so last night, again, just a small sample, but we had our big family dinner for the twins' 17th birthday, and it was a wonderful time. All the kids, significant others, everyone, boyfriends, girlfriends, everyone was there. Steve St. John Sr. was in rare form, where we've got to talk to my dad about how loud he speaks at a table when there's other tables with people we don't know close by. Because some of the things that he says are not, I think, considered dinner talk for
Rated R.
other people. There's we're getting some looks at some of the things he was saying, and I had him sit next to our buddy Sam.
Yeah.
So that was
Good
there was
luck
a
with
lot
that.
and I was on that end of the table. There was a lot of commotion. We had 14 people at the table, and there was already commotion. But that particular corner of the table was overwhelming.
Yeah.
I can tell you.
Sammy eggs him on a little bit.
We were a little. We were having fun. But I'm listening, even Sam, I showed him. I said, "Look, Bieniemy's official." He's all fired up and excited. I saw somebody else there that was asking me about it at the restaurant. Isn't it great? Bieniemy's coming back. Like, you know what? Yeah, it is. Yes, it is. And then I find myself talking to real people, with real faces, not behind these dumb Twitter accounts. It's like, okay, they get it, they understand it, and combining what it means simply just to for him to come in and help revamp the running game. and to be able to bring with him some of the ideas and wrinkles that he picked up from Ben Johnson's offense and combining that with the new wide receivers coach and Chad O'Shea and the time he spent with the Patriots and the time he spent in Minnesota with Bieniemy and the time he spent as passing game coordinator under Kevin Stefanski. And this, I mean, we're now 5 or 6 coaches now that are being replaced. It's not the way that people wanted, and, you know, for Andy Reid to come out, fire and brimstone, and we're doing this and we're doing that. And the Chiefs haven't, you know, been posting graphics, fired, hired, all these, you know, some of these other teams that are spinning their wheels right now, trying to gain relevance. But real change is coming on that coaching staff, and it's happening right now. And the things that you wanted are happening. The fresh ideas, the coaches that are come in and be able to, I think, get the most out of these group of players, especially the wide receivers and the running backs. A new direction for the offense. It's still Andy's offense. But to look at what they've done so far and what they're still going to do, they're still bringing a running backs coach in. There's a lot of really good names I've heard out there. There's plenty to be excited about. And so that's the reminder. Don't let social media drag you down. If you're excited about Eric Bieniemy coming back, be excited about Eric Bieniemy coming back. If you're excited about the new wide receivers coach, you should be, because I think it's a great hire. We've got lots to talk about, including some comments from Gronk about the new wide receivers coach. You'll listen to Gronk, won't you?
Oh, yeah, I've heard. I have him right here, ready to play.
Yeah.
We'll play him after Joe Valerio.
He had some great comments, and then right afterwards he ate a box of crayons, which was awesome. We'll take a break. Back after this on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Welcome back to New Day with SSJ on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Thank you very much for joining us. It's Thursday, January 22nd, 2026, and now we'll say hello to former Chiefs offensive lineman Joe Valerio. Joe, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Steven. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. You know what? I'm happy Eric Bieniemy's coming back, and before we really got deep into this, and it looked like he was going to be the guy. You know, I came on the show and said, I mean, with what this team lacked and what this team needs, and the fact that I do think it's significant and a value that he spent the last year under Ben Johnson. And look, the Chiefs have several things they need to improve upon, but one of the biggest things is the run game, the running back room. Just everything about the running game. There's no better guy to come in and help improve that than Eric Bieniemy. And so let's start there, because the news is now official, as Tom Pelissero posted last night. The Chiefs officially agreed to terms with Eric Bieniemy, and it looks like they have agreed to a multi-year contract. What's your reaction to that move now that it is official?
Well, Stephen, I mean, look, he and Andy Reid working together have demonstrated success that they can make that offense run. And look, I know there was a lot of talk of we need, maybe somebody outside and creative and different. We need to go, whether it was any of the offensive-minded head coaches that were available, or whether it was, any other offensive coordinator that was out there interviewing. Like, I like the move too. I really do. I like the way that Eric Bieniemy and Andy Reid worked together through those really, not that we're still not in the glory days of the Chiefs organization, because, one season doesn't make or break a dynasty. They had that demonstrated success, and I'm excited about him coming back and bringing that, bringing whatever it is that he brings to the locker room and to the classroom and to the field that made it work during those Super Bowl runs and during what was a really, really successful time for their offense. And not always with obviously with Patrick Mahomes, but not always with the best of weapons. Yeah, he did have Tyreek Hill, but, it wasn't always with, multiple weapons. It was done with, a couple of good guys and Patrick Mahomes. So I like it. I'm excited about it.
I am as well, and I'm excited about it because you also can factor in the addition of Chad O'Shea as the new wide receivers coach. Mm-hmm. And look, what did people want? What did people in this fan base campaign for? They need a new wide receiver coach that is experienced. They could be the adult in the room. They need an upgrade there, because I can tell you, just talking to people, listening to people, and how people felt about this team, one of the coaches, and we know this is no big surprise, that needed to be replaced, according to anyone that watched the team or followed the team, was the wide receiver coach, and Connor Embry. And hopefully he can go on and be a successful coach someplace else and move on, but it wasn't happening here. And so they go from a guy that looked underqualified to be the coach. I mean, you can't get more qualified in a guy like Chad O'Shea, who at one time, we had Mark Boerichter in here earlier this week. He was a volunteer assistant and then an assistant coach when Boerichter was playing for the Chiefs under Dick Vermeil. And then he was in Minnesota with Bieniemy, and that's where they made their connection. He spent a decade with the Patriots and won championships. And he had a year as an offensive coordinator with the Dolphins when Brian Flores was there. 5 years as passing game coordinator and receivers coach with the Browns under Kevin Stefanski. And so I'm equally excited about that move, because that's the description. A fresh voice, come in, offer some ideas about the passing game, and just hopefully be a part of this more successful collaboration. What about that addition?
Oh, I love it. I love it. And, look, I mean, I know working with Kevin Stefanski, was probably a really, really good experience, because I think they did things in Cleveland, given their limit. Like, how many quarterbacks did they have? I mean, it's become, the internet NFL meme of the century, right? Is the the number of quarterbacks that have flowed through that organization, and they had success given some of the limited talent that they had at times. So yeah, I think when you have coaches that can do that, it takes a lot to manage these locker rooms these days. I think there was a little bit more command and control when I was playing, and I'm sure you could ask Bill and Tim when you talk to them about those 80s, 90s, and early 2000s era. There was a lot more command and control at the top. Coaches had a different relationship with players. I think today it takes something different with whether it's social media and now the fact that some of these, I can call them kids because I'm of that age, but some of these kids are making more money in college and they're taking a pay cut to come to the NFL, right? How do you deal with that? Like, I just think that you need somebody like that with that kind of gravitas to come in your coaching rooms, because that's where you spend the most time. Like, head coach and offensive coordinator. I mean, look, yeah, it was Marty. Of course, when I was playing, I'll use my era as an example. Like, Marty was the influential leader, right? He was your head coach. He was the guy everybody knew. It all rolled up to. He was taking ultimate responsibility, and so on and so forth down the hierarchy of coaches, right? It goes, your head coach and then your coordinators. They've got these large groups, but I gotta be honest. You spend less and less time as you go up the ladder, right? Like, I didn't spend a lot of time with Paul Hackett as our offense coordinator, or Joe Pendry when I first came into the league. Of course I had a relationship with them as a lineman, and all of us did, even the star players, even the starters. You don't spend that much time with them and the head coach, but man, your position coach, you're with them all day. From the time, Alex Gibbs and Art Shell and Howard Mudd, those guys they became true mentors. They were the ones that I was with. Sometimes they were in the weight room in the morning. When we get there, we'd have our pre-meetings in the morning. Then all of a sudden, you go to your offense and defensive meetings or your team meeting, and then coach is sitting with you, and then you break out. And when you break out, you're with that coach for the rest of the day, and you very rarely see your coordinator and head coach until you get back out on the field. So it's a lot of time with that person. So, hey, the best that they can do is get guys that can build and mentor and train and constantly coach those guys throughout the day, not just for the hour and a half to 2 hours that you have them out on the field with the pads on. So I love the move. I think Coach O'Shea is going to be fantastic, and I'm really excited about this revamped offensive sort of team, air quote, that they're putting together.
And more than others, I know you think very highly of Kevin Stefanski, and clearly the rest of the NFL did, because he was not a free agent for long after he parted ways with Cleveland. But there is something to be said for him, for O'Shea being the passing game coordinator and receivers coach under Stefanski for the past 5 years, after that long stint in New England, and then a year as an offensive coordinator in between, because Stefanski, there's no question what the issue was. It's Cleveland and not having a quarterback and the dysfunction with that organization, and so to be able to get somebody that spent time around a mind like Stefanski, on top of all that other success, that fits the definition, right, of maybe having a different perspective where someone can come in and not look. This is still going to be 80s offense, but just to offer some ideas and just maybe to tweak some things where they can get back on track.
Which Andy's going to do, right? I mean, maybe this team didn't, this assembly of a staff didn't have that same sort of forceful input and experience that Eric Bieniemy has, and that now Coach O'Shea brings to the table. My worry was that we were losing out on things like, and I know this is going to sound really silly, Stephen, but things like the snow globe, right? Things like where the Chiefs got away from that. Hey, let's take people's ideas and turn them into plays, not only to have some fun and make this thing exciting for fans and for the players, but just to be creative and be different. I mean, I didn't see that out of the offense, and who am I to say? But I know a lot of fans didn't either. They just didn't see that same creativity from the past, and I think it was a struggle. And obviously, there was a lot of tactical things that caused the struggle. The health of the offensive line, the health of the running back room. I mean, there was a lot of things that pushed that team into some offensive woes. But for the most part, I didn't see the same creativity. And I'm going to use this word, fun. Like, I didn't see the same fun out of this offense. And I think Andy, his hope, I'm sure, in getting this very seasoned staff and people that are well thought of, that they'll get back to that, where it becomes a laboratory again, where their creative juices are flowing and they start thinking of different ways. Because I think my personal opinion was that the offense got pretty stale over the last, year and a half.
We have our good friend Joe Valerio on the line. Joe, who's going to win these championship games this weekend?
Oh man, it's quite an exciting week. Obviously, with the fact that what happened with Denver, I know that's probably really frustrating for a lot of Buffalo fans. That man, all right, well, without Bo Nix, the Bills should have they should substitute him out, right? But hey, Nick Foles has had a lot to say about backup quarterbacks winning Super Bowls. So I wouldn't count the Patriots or the Patriots. I wouldn't count the Broncos out yet, and. But I think New England is just kind of rolling right now, and I know they haven't really, they really haven't shown a lot through their schedule strength. But I still think the Patriots, without Bo Nix, the Patriots have a pretty big leg up, even with the Broncos at home, and I think the Broncos. Defense is really, really good, but you still have to score some points. So I think the Patriots win that one. I think it's going to be close. I think the Patriots win that one by a touchdown, probably 24-17. And I think they walk into the Super Bowl. And, what a shame for Broncos fans to not have their starting quarterback going through into all this. And then I think the Seahawks are just rolling right now. I mean, you saw what they did against the 49ers. I just think they're reminding me a little bit now of Indiana. Where it's just almost becoming like that rolling ball or razor blades of destiny that they just kind of, they're going to take it. Rams, another road game for the Rams. They had they really had a tough game, and last week, and I think they're coming off that cold game in Chicago, which was a fantastic game. I just think the Seahawks are rolling and they're just too powerful. I think they win by 10. I think it's 31-21, and I think they put up quite a few points, get over 30, and they kind of, I don't want to say run away with it. I don't think it's going to be anything like the Niners game, but I think they win that one pretty relatively handily. So I think we're looking at the Seahawks and the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Man, that was a wild Buffalo Bills press conference yesterday, huh? Finger pointing, thrown under the bus, all kinds of great stuff, huh?
Man, new stadium coming. What a crazy time in Buffalo. You sad fans because they're tearing down old Rich Stadium and firing their head coach. Josh Allen's crying. Everybody's, mad, pointing at the referees to intercept. Man, it's a lot of tumult there for an organization that has gone deep, pretty well into the playoffs, at least not deep all the time, but into the playoffs. And that's just what happens when everybody's chasing that brass ring, Stephen. And it's like I'm going to make the strangest analogy of the day you're going to hear. It's like Gollum looking for the ring in Lord of the Rings. Everybody just gets all crazy when they're trying to capture that that ring, and it makes people say things and do things, and decisions get made, and everybody wants to win that trophy, and crazy things happen when you kind of are there and you're at the precipice and you can't quite reach it. So it's be interesting to see how that organization rebounds throughout this off season.
All right, Joe, if you would tell people about the podcast so they can keep up with that.
Yeah, give a listen to Jeff Fedotin, my buddy from Forbes Magazine, Kansas City native, Believe in Chiefs, BLEAV, and you can follow along at Joe Valerio 73 social media for updates.
Joe, always good talking to you, and stay safe and stay warm. I know there's going to be bad weather all over the country, and so we'll see how bad it gets, but hopefully it'll be okay in your area.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Snuggle up on the weekend with some football, so it should be fun.
There it is. Thank you, Joe.
All right, thanks, Steven.
That's Joe Valerio, former Chiefs offensive lineman. Would you like to snuggle up with some football, Jake?
Yeah, get nice and cozy. Do some spooning.
Wow, spooning with some football.
That's right.
How about that, people? We're very descriptive on the show as Jake looks forward to a weekend spooning with some football. or spooning with a football. I don't know what he meant. But
I'll be football's little spoon.
there we go. That's all I wanted to know. Back after this on WHB. Welcome back to the show. I was telling Jake, now if you go to Google and Google Kurt Signetti, the message that comes up, yep, he won. Well done. All right. As we've told you in the past, Jake closely monitors the Up and Adams show with Kay Adams. And Gronk
Yes, sir.
was talking on the show about Chad O'Shea, the new wide receivers coach. And so let's listen to Gronk and see what he has to say about this hire by the Chiefs.
Chad O'Shea is responsible. I wouldn't say responsible for Randy Moss's and Wes Walker's career in New England, but I would say he's responsible for Julian Edelman's career in New England. That's for sure. But Chad O'Shea, I mean, he was there in the prime of Randy Moss and Wes Welker at the wide receiver position. He was the wide receiver coach. You know, he helped establish them, helped that offense grow. You know, help those wide receivers be on the same page as Tom Brady. And he's got so much knowledge of the game of football. I love Chatty O. I associate myself with him at practice all the time. We always chit-chatted. We had a great time talking about things.
What can KC fans expect
off the field
from
of
him?
football as well. I'm a smart guy, very smart, knows the game of football, no doubt about it. He was an offensive coordinator before, but I truly believe that he fits at the wide receiver position better than any other coach, you know, out there. I wouldn't say better than any other. I would just say he's a top prospect. He's a top guy, but probably a top 3 wide receiver coach in the NFL. There's no doubt about that. But I'm telling you, his knowledge and the way that he could connect with players as well. It's not just about coaching and knowing what you know about football and knowing everything inside and out. It's how you connect with these guys and how can you bring the best out of them.
Yeah.
And that's what he does. And that's why he's so great. And I think he's the mold fits him perfect at the wide receiver position as well, at being a coach there.
Thank you. Right. So that was good stuff there, I thought.
Yeah, it's a glowing endorsement from Gronk. Liked hearing that. I'm excited about it. I think it's a great move. I think it's a great upgrade. Guy with tons of experience. Like you mentioned with Joe, exactly what people were asking for, a fresh mind, somebody from the outside to come in with some new ideas. And then I like what Joe had to say about how much time players actually spend with their individual position coaches.
He makes a good point, Gronk does, about connecting. It's like, you know, think about when you were in school at any level and you had teachers that either you connected with or you didn't, right? Like most all teachers have a great grasp of the subject or subjects they're trying to teach. You know, teaching is obviously it ain't easy, but great teachers are worth their weight in gold because the great teachers not only do they possess that knowledge, but they have a great understanding of how to deliver it and how to connect with students and how to teach, right? And just because you are knowledgeable as a coach, if you don't have the respect of your players, if you don't have some type of connection where they will listen to you and you can deliver your message, it's not going to work. And I think this is a perfect case of that. And I think you're going to find that Eric Bieniemy's connection with the players and the excitement you heard from Travis Kelce on the New Heights podcast and the post that Patrick Mahomes made on Instagram showing his support of the return of Eric Bieniemy. I think you'll see that. And those are the intangibles that don't show up in the box score and the analytics, and that sometimes it's very difficult for us to identify. But I love what Gronk said right there. his ability to connect with players. You have to have that. And I had teachers that, hey, they knew everything about, whatever subject it was, but I couldn't connect with them, and so I didn't learn anything. Or I learned very little. But you could think of those teachers you connected with, right? That knew how to deliver the message and knew how to engage you as a student. Well, I don't know if did any teacher ever engage you as a student?
Yeah, Mr. Anderson.
Okay, so there you go.
Broadcasting. He's the one that actually told me about Nikola Tesla and how everything he's teaching in his books is a lie.
Well, there's a tremendous connection there. Perhaps a horrible example of what I'm trying to get to. But.
No, they also have the ability to get the student to give their full efforts. I mean, there's when
coaching is teaching.
Right, and when you feel like somebody's fully invested, you're going to be willing, that, and that's kind of like I had some high school teachers. Mr. Wilson taught Latin. I hated Latin. I didn't want anything to do with Latin. But yet he had the ability to make it interesting and get us to care about it.
You have to have that connection, and that's important in coaching. So I loved hearing that from Rob Gronkowski. We'll take a break back after this on WHP.